Okay, ladies and gentlemen, very much welcome to the Chamber and especially here to the House of Aussenwirtschaft. Which is quite important because we are speaking now about real estate, Bauwirtschaft, real estate, construction industry go hand in hand. So very much welcome to our headquarters here in Vienna. It is a special pleasure to have an investment event here about Spain, because nowadays people might think, okay, Spain, why should I go there, why should I invest there, and then especially in the real estate business. That's why I think it's the right time to look into the future. Our relations with Spain are excellent. We still have a very good business with Spain. It's a little bit shrinking, but hardly 1% last year, and I'm sure that this year it will go up again. We have a trade volume of about 2 billion euro. This is quite sizable. There is a little bit of trade deficit for Austria, unfortunately, but maybe this year we can beat Spain and have a little bit of surplus. But this doesn't matter, because what matters is that people, and especially business people, come together, see each other, invest in each other countries, and do business. In this context, I'm very much pleased to welcome also His Excellency, the Ambassador of Spain in Austria, Mr. Alberto Carnero. And of course also the President of C-House, Professor Harald Svoboda. C-House is die spanische österreichische Unternehmensvereinigung. It's your business club here in Austria for the Spanish community, for everyone who has to do something with Spain. Then, of course, I'm very much pleased also to have a very, very nice and dear colleague here, Mr. Cortes from the Commercial Councillor here, who is really trying to promote business, Spain and Austria. Then there is a very charming lady, Dr. Navarro, and she is a lawyer here, and well, I think also a good example how Spanish can do some business here in Austria. Without the support of various organizations, it will not be possible to make this event here. I'm happy to have first 3 gentlemen from various corporations in Spain, Mr. Navarro, Mr. Alberto, Mr. Schröder, and then of course the Spanish Export Promotion Agency, as well as Invest in Spain, are also supporting this event. I would also like to speak a little bit about what the Chamber is doing in Spain and with Spain. We have 2 offices in Spain, one main office in Madrid and another in Barcelona. They are trying to have various activities this year, especially also promoting employment of Spanish citizens to Austria. There were various missions of Austrian companies to Spain, and they were quite successful. They could recruit highly qualified personnel to their companies. Sometimes very much into high-tech software companies and engineers. Another where we started to do some more connection, some more business is between lawyers, legal offices of Austria and Spain that will be initially coming to Vienna very soon. And then there is this year still a third event which is not in Spain but in Portugal, in Lisbon. But it is an Austrian Connect where Austria connects to Spain and Portugal. Business people meet each other and exchange ideas and try to promote mutual business as much as possible. I will close my remarks here. Thank you very much for coming, and may I pass the word to His Excellency the Ambassador for his opening remarks. Please.
Thank you very much and welcome to all of you, and thank you to the Wirtschaftskammer and to the Council for organizing this meeting. I will try to answer to your question. I mean, why should investors go to Spain precisely now? Precisely when we are still in a crisis, but we are getting out of a recession. And I'll tell you something. I mean, a year and 9 months ago, I was appointed a junior position in the government, a newly elected government, and with a very big crisis. And the situation was really bad. It was so bad that a friend of mine used to say that we are in such bad situation today that it almost looks like tomorrow. So that's precisely what has changed in a year and 9 months. Today, the perspective of the future is much better than a year ago. And this is not just by chance, it's because the Spanish government has undertaken a strategy of reforms, of economic reforms, that I think is bearing the fruits nowadays. I think the strategy is based on three pillars. I mean, the first one is fiscal consolidation, because without public accounts on a balance, I mean, there is no hope for to promote confidence and investors coming to Spain. The second pillar of this strategy is structural reforms. I think Jose-Miguel Cortes will explain to you the scope of those reforms and the depth of those reforms. And the third pillar of this joint strategy is credit. The financial sector in Spain has been going a deep restructuring, and it's succeeding. And that's very important because credit is starting to flow to businesses. So that's, in a way, I mean, the basis of the confidence needed for investors to come to Spain. If we look at the real estate sector, there are some reasons, some very good reasons to invest precisely now in Spain. And I will mention just a few numbers, some facts that I hope that that you already know, but I think that are also important for you to know in some detail. I mean, Spain is the 5th economy of the European Union and the 4th of the Euro area, which are GDP of more than 1 trillion euros. The number of tourists that visited Spain last year, in 2012, were 57.7 million in a population of 45 million persons. That's Spain. And I think this year the number will be even larger. Most of them are coming from European countries, France, Germany, the United Kingdom. Another important point that I think should be discussed along this meeting is the legal framework for investment in real estate. I mean, this government has promoted the so-called Law 4-2013 about flexibility on the rental market, which is important because that will foster the sustainability of investments in the real estate sector, and allow also promoting the renewal of real estate. And of course, which is most important for an investor looking to put his money in Spain, is that prices have fallen sharply from the bubble that from the prices before the crisis in 2008. And of course, I mean, at the end, what we need in Spain to attract investors is confidence. Confidence will come only if we say the truth of the situation of the Spanish economy. We are not in the point that we want to stay, but we are clearly getting out of the crisis, and clearly in the future will be better than today. So I hope that this will help you to take decisions. I hope that this meeting will be productive, and that some accords will be made. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. A crisis never lasts forever, and also in Spain, it will come to an end, and we are sure also here in the chamber that it will come to an end very, very soon. That's why we are confident that also Austrians can still do a good business here with Spanish companies, either here or in Spain, and that we can successfully work together. May I ask Professor Dr. Harald Svoboda, the President of the Chamber of Spanish-Austrian Entrepreneurs, for his welcome remarks, please.
Thank you. On behalf of the Chamber of Spanish-Austrian Entrepreneurs, I welcome you all. House is the co-organizer of this event, helpful, supported by Dr. Alejandra, Navarro, the Counsellor. What's House? Let me give a short description of this association. House is registered in Vienna since 2009 as an association. I am the chairman of the board, so-called also the president, but that's an Austrian specific words for all who are representing associations in Vienna. We have a lot of associations in Austria, therefore a lot of presidents. That's by the side. We have two. House has two honorary presidents, the ambassador of Spain in Austria, and the other honorary president is Benita Ferrero-Waldner. She's the ex-Minister of Foreign Affairs in Austria, and also the she was the Commissioner of the European Union in Brussels. Unfortunately, she cannot be here today, but the next event will be so free and invite you all to the next event. Maybe she will. Okay, that's the legal framework of House. What is House doing? We offer a wide range of services to our members. Our members, entrepreneurs, from Austria and such of Spain, which are interested to come together to participate in our events. And for this purpose, we are focused in organizing events, where our members have the opportunity to present themselves and come together, events, supporting business activities and more. If you are interested in such maybe our oh, it doesn't matter. If you are interested, please visit our website. Okay. Yeah, today's event is, in my opinion, is basically Mr. Franz Schröder said, it's very interesting for investors in Spain, especially in this time when the crisis stops, and when for investors are future possibilities for their business open. But all this will explain you. The commercial council of the embassy, we act, CEOs act in a very close cooperation with the Oficina Comercial de la Embajada, represented by Senor Jose-Miguel Cortes. He leads the lead of speakers, and so far may I
Thank you. Yes, yes, please, yes.
I think His Excellency thanks so much. And please, you are always welcome here in the chamber. Whenever you need anything from us, contact us.
Okay, good morning to you all. I'm not going to talk about what my ambassador said. It's very tricky to talk about the Spanish economy these days. He said it. We're going from bad to better. No. Actually, thank you to our host, because if VKO wouldn't have offered this room, we would not be here today. And VKO has been very kind. Thank you. I can transmit to President Alberto that we are very happy to be here. You have a complete presentation loaded in the computer, but I'm not going to talk about it. It's there. If you want it, I think for a small fee, the VKO can give it to you. I will cover a few messages. I see here some friends, some lawyers, even if they are lawyers, are friends. Our honorary consuls, Mr. Pedak, Mr. Christoph, Mr. Korp, and I'm not sure if Mr. Trapp has come from Innsbruck. Probably not. He was registered. Yes? Okay. It's interesting because our honorary consuls in Austria, they are rather obvious to me. I've been in several postings abroad, but these ones here are very active. And in terms of real estate, basically they also own properties in Spain, which is also very helpful because they understand better the issues that can be found around this. Now, we decided to bring to Austria some private groups, and that's the important thing today, not me, basically. private corporations and institutions such as Invest in Spain, which helped us to find those private groups in Spain, dealing with the sector of real estate in Spain. Now, this moment starts to be mature, as Ambassador said, in terms of the correction of real estate prices. According to some estimates, we can count on an average of minus 38% since the peak in 2007. Now, the boom has been busted in the real estate sector in Spain. Of course, it varies through regions. The most acute correction has taken place in the Mediterranean side, in some of the Canary Islands and in Madrid outskirts, basically where more houses and buildings were built with financing but without real demand. Now, if we look at particular places, we will find that on average, and that's in the presentation, in the Balearic Islands, a small city called Ciudadela, the correction has been minus 50%. Same as in Calpe, in Alicante. In San Roque, in Cádiz province, is minus 41%. In Marbella, Malaga, famous Marbella, correction has been minus 40%. And in Castellón province, north of Valencia, south of Catalonia, the correction has been minus 38%. Now, as a natural consequence of that, acquisitions by foreigners is basically by foreigners because domestic demand is still weak, started to grow already in 2011 and has been growing in 2012, both individuals and investment funds. Now, so far I've talked about residential, basically in touristic areas, which probably is what our private groups later will expand on. Now, anecdotally, we have checked the information available in the property registry in Spain and found out that in 2012, so last year, only 144 units were acquired by Austrian citizens and 37 in the first quarter of 2013. Comparing that to total purchases of houses by foreigners in Spain, it's very small. Total purchases by foreigners reached 35,000 units in 2012, still below the peak of 37,000 units in 2008. Interestingly, 40% of that was in the Valencia region, again, Mediterranean, Costa Blanca, basically. That's the reason what is good that we have a representative from Alicante province, which will explain all these things later on. Now, last August, so last month, an American investment fund, HIG Capital, acquired a whole package of 1,000 units and 750 annexes to Sareb. Now, what is Sareb? Sareb is the bad bank that Spain had to create following the recommendation of the European Commission, the Central Bank, and the IMF. Basically, HIG, which you may call a vulture fund, Fondo Buitre, maybe, but not so vulture. They know what they're doing. Basically, these houses were in Valencia, again, and in Andalusia. Now, as far as office space is concerned, the market has started to move. I don't want to say to peak, no, to move. With the French AXA acquiring in Barcelona a building, spending 172 million euros. That's been recently. Other groups like Jones, Long, LaSalle, the German branch of CBRE, and the British Savills are setting up bases in Spain. So far, what we know is that they are analyzing several properties. Now I comment on Sareb, on the bad bank. Now, so far, they are actually doing the sales that were transferred to them through the banks whose assets were transferred to Sareb. For instance, Bankia is still selling the assets, both houses and land. They also have land. Also office and commercial space, and also hotels. Those are in the portfolio of Sareb. Sareb in Spanish means Sociedad Anónima para la Reestructuración Bancaria, the bad bank. What Sareb offers differently is the possibility to acquire a pre-agreed asset portfolio, such as like HIEG did. So you don't go to Sareb to buy one house under certain financial conditions. And that is interesting for investment funds, not so much for individuals, in principle. It is worth mentioning the possibility to create a banking asset fund with Sareb. Sareb will invest in that fund with you, the fund, not over 50%. And then you will get financing for the purchase. And that's exactly what HIG has done. Sareb received 57,000 houses, which is not much. If you consider that the stock of unsold houses in Spain is around 700,000. But Sareb has been able to sell since March, when it was created, March this year, around 2,000 units. Not bad considering that Sareb has given a life of 15 years. The major banks in Spain have agreed to lend to the purchasers of Sareb assets under negotiated conditions. Now, in terms of the economy, Ambassador has mentioned already, we're doing well in exports, so the current account balance is positive now. So we're deleveraging the economy. We have too many debts, now we have many debts, not too many. We're deliberating. Tourism is doing very well, right? And yes, the domestic demand will only start picking when credit starts giving. But banks have to first clear their assets, particularly, not only, but particularly in real estate, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. There are good opportunities. In conclusion, money is coming back into Spain, slowly, coming. Other funds like KKR, American, Kennedy Wilson, Lone Star, Blackstone, are setting up base in Madrid. They want to explore, not only for real estate, obviously. For instance, KKR just recently lent to Uralita, to Ursa, who has a base here in Vienna, over $300 million to restructure its debt. Now, you don't do that if you don't have confidence, of course. Available also for funds, for investment funds, are portfolios of distressed, so-called non-performing loans. Those are also available. And these funds are exploring those possibilities. These funds offer liquidity in a market that has little of it. In Madrid, in Paseo de la Castellana, top for office space, 1 square meter of office space, 1 square meter, has come down from 13,000 euros in the peak in 2007 to 6,500 euros. So, half of it. That's Paseo de la Castellana. I don't want to expand more on this. Franz, thank you very much. I would like to introduce Belen, Miss Belen Calvo from Best in Spain, who in 5 minutes, please, you are able to explain what you do. And unfortunately, we had 2 groups also registered, Spanish groups at the beginning, but they had to cancel. Consa and the Association of Real Estate Promoters in the province of Murcia, south of Alicante. I don't know if you can give a couple of words on that, Belen?
Yeah, well, the first thing that I'd like is thanking our host today here for having organized and helped us, the Spanish trade office here in Vienna, organizing all this event and helping us to what we are mainly dedicated is to put together the Spanish companies with the Austrians here today. I've heard many reasons why invest in Spain now, not only from the Spanish part, but as well from the Austrians, saying why should be now the right moment to invest in Spain. So I don't want, as Jose-Miguel has insisted, do not delay your introduction that much for 5 minutes.